My sub 16 minute 5k training block is now well underway as I enter week 2, but there's already an adjustment this week as I approach this weekend's race. And no, it isn't the first 5k of the block, but in fact something equally as exciting. And in amongst this, I now have my confirmed list of 5k races that I hope to see some of you guys at as well. And I'm sure you can all resonate with this as we start a new training block. I felt like I was trying to prove a point to myself, as if I had never done speed before, or as if I had done speed before, but I wanted to try and see if it was still within me, even though I hadn't touched this sort of stuff for a very long time. I noticed actually on a lot of runs I felt quite tense last week. Excited, maybe, I'm not sure, but either way it was a goal this week to calm down, and that's exactly how we started this week's run. First run this week already is 1 BPM lower than last week, which is great, same pace, but I started off the run a lot more relaxed shoulders, feeling good, realizing that actually we've got 10 weeks until the final goal race, so let's just put the brakes on a little bit and try and tick off each run as it comes. Just relax, leave all tension at the door, and let the workouts take care of themselves. So let's get into this, shall we? Let's talk about the race this weekend, and then of course the 4 races coming up now that I have booked and penciled in to the calendar. Quick recap on last week's training. I kick-started Monday with a moderate 75 minutes and 4 times 20-second hill strides. That was great. And then on the Tuesday I ended up doubling. I did 3 miles warm-up, just over 3 mile workout, which included 8 by 400 meters and 4 by 200 meters, and then a 3 mile cool down. And then I followed that up with an evening double of an easy just over an hour long. Wednesday was a rest day, and then Thursday consisted of a relaxed 3k tempo, a round marathon effort, followed by 5 by a k in some windy weather, but the goal there was to try and hit some good solid threshold paces, which I kind of did, to be honest with you, and that was sandwiched within a 2 mile warm up and cool down. I went out later that evening as well for another double, did 14 minutes nice and easy, and then Friday I went out for just over an hour with a friend Dave and clocked over 8.5 miles. That was fantastic. And then the long run on the weekend was 90 minutes moderate with 5 by 3 minutes on, off in the middle. Basically the offs were back at the moderate level that I was floating at, so basically just holding pace, and I used those 3 minutes to surge. I labelled them as tempo, but realistically I was just aiming to pick up the pace, surge, and it was great. I started around 550 per mile, cut down to 540-ish, 539 at best, but was able to settle back in and then wrap that run up, which was going to be just over 14 miles, and that was the 67 mile week, or 108 kilometers. So let's talk about the adaptation to this week's training, because that is happening already. And no, it's not because I've overcooked myself or anything like that. I just want to be relatively fresh for this weekend's race. The goal then is going to be to basically drop the threshold workout at the end of the week, because I'm going to get a solid race effort in on the Sunday. So I'm going to keep the speed workout in, which I have penciled in tomorrow or today when you guys see this video. That's going to be the priority for me. I'm going to get the race day stimulus on the weekend, and I don't want to overcook myself. What I've realized more importantly than anything is that this training block is slightly new to me in terms of I have done it in the past, but I'm really diving into the realms of areas that I haven't trained too much, so I don't want to put too much strain on the body. The goal is going to be to basically do a couple of workouts a week, Tuesday and Thursday, and put some relaxed tempo in the long runs. A pretty standard way of training, I suppose, but I don't want to overcook it when there are races within there, so I'm just going to back off a little bit when there are races coming up. I am aware that I don't want to overdo things, so that's going to be the goal this week. I will get that run done, and then what I'll aim to do on the Thursday is, rather than a workout, probably do an easy or steady run and then just inject a little bit of something in there, maybe something like 5 by 30-second efforts. Nothing more, nothing less. It doesn't need to be, just keep the legs turning over fast and see how I feel ready for the race on Sunday. And that race is going to be the Pulford 10k. I'm sure a few of you have heard of it. It's being used as a European 10k trial, so there's going to be a lot of very fast runners there. I'm also in for the Fission half marathon, but I had a decision to make as to which one I'd rather go to, and as I'm slightly detraining away from the half marathon and locking in to that more speed work, I felt like I would want to put myself in the lion's den in a fast environment and basically go up there with absolutely no pressure, which feels amazing, and go and run fast. I'm excited to just basically get in the back of a pack and hopefully get pulled along to a fast time. I'm not going to make any secret of the fact that I will probably end up trying to go for a PB there, which will be fantastic, and there's probably going to be no better place. The reason I've held off on committing to this race is that it's nearly 3 hours away, so I am going to get a hotel and I am going to stay the night before. I was also waiting for the weather because I did not want to waste my money and drive up all that way to run in another storm If you follow the channel, you guys know I've had my fair share of stormy races over the past few weeks. However, I'm excited this year to be putting myself in the Lion's Den, and this is one of 2 elite races that I have coming up. And yes, I am labeling this as an elite race because I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere on Instagram, Run Cheshire posted something along the lines of they had over 50 entrants that are registered with a sub 30 minute PB time. I'm sure it's 50, it might have been 30 or 40, it was a while ago, but that means the caliber of athletes that are turning up to this is going to be absolutely top level. And the fact that I'm able to get into this race and rub shoulders with any of these people, even though I will be right at the back, is super, super exciting. So this is going to be one of 2 elite races that I've got coming up over the next few weeks. So let's talk about these 4 races that are now confirmed that I hope to see some of you guys at, and we'll talk about an action plan for each of them because I do kind of have goals in my head for each of these races. So obviously the first one, I've already told you guys this, it's the Hereford 10K on Wednesday the 2nd of April. That was not changed, that was the first one in the books, and that is going to be the season opener, shall we say. So that's in less than 3 weeks time now. The goal there, I'm not particularly aiming to go do anything crazy at this course because it is a great course, but there is a gravelly section in the middle which always kind of throws me a little bit. It's a very fast course, but that always knocks me off kilt. It's a 2-lap course, and so when I go through that section and come out the other side, I always struggle a little bit. I think last year I managed to clock a 16:08 there, which is very, very close. So my goal, simply and honestly, is to go there and run a course PB because the next race coming up is the one that I'm really going to be going for that sub 16 on. I probably should clarify actually, I'm not going to be going for a sub 16 on any of them, but I know realistically which courses are going to be better for it and which ones aren't. I'm actually just going to go out there and run hard and see where I'm at, and that's exactly what that Hereford one is going to allow me to do, a proper line in the sand whilst we have the other 3 races coming up. And if that ends up being a sub 16, then absolutely happy days. And the second race going to be in the calendar is Saturday the 19th of April. That is the Battersea Park Top Flight 5K. This is the second elite race that I'm mentioning. So as I said, the first one, Pulford 10K, excited for that one, but this one is a proper elite race, and I've managed to get myself an elite entry, which is crazy really to think because I did this last year. I started last place and was the last one to cross over that start line. Some insane runners there, going to be running well into the 14 minutes, maybe even 13. But for me, I've managed to get the qualifying time. I'm right at the back of that qualifying time, and my 10K time qualified me, which is a sub 33:30. So you fill out the form and you get yourself an entry into that race for free. So all I have to do is pay for the transport to get down there. Goals for this race, break 16 minutes. This is the one that I really want to go for. So obviously, unless the weather is extremely hot or we have anything crazy going on, this is the one that I really want to give it a good go. The course looks to be slightly modified from when I did it last year. So last year it was basically just kind of 2 loops within Battersea Park. This time we start on the track, run out, do 2 loops, and then come in and finish on the track there. So actually I think that's going to be a little bit better. A fast start and a fast finish. Now I remember it well, and being in a top flight race means that you're not going to have the lapped runners. Of course, Battersea Park is an open park, so you can never predict what's going to happen, and you're going to be ducking and weaving whatever's going on. And I know there's a run through race there shortly afterwards. I think this top flight race starts 30 minutes before, so I do hope to see a lot of you guys there, whether you're racing in the top flight race or the main Battersea Park 5K. But either way, we will be doing a little bit of ducking and weaving, but hopefully within the top flight one a little bit less. So I'm excited to once again probably start at the back, but then work my way through a little bit better. This is where I set my PB last year, 16:05. This is where I hope to break the 16-minute barrier. Third race, back to Hereford for the second Hereford 5K. This one I'm also going to be going for a sub 16. I'm basically, for these last 3, I'm going to be going for it on every single one. I want to use the first one as a bit of a warm-up, and then the next 3 I'm just not going to hold back, and I'm going to have that mentality that I want that sub 16 time. So all I aim to do with this one once again is improve from what happened in April. I think it's 5 weeks from that first Hereford 5K race to this one. So again, it's just going to be a case of going out there. I'm very aware that when we get into May, it's going to be warmer. I'm going to have more favourable temperatures in that first one. However, it's no excuse for me. I'm going to be going for it. I'm not going to be holding back at all. That's the one, as I said, that I want to be going sub 16 on again. And finally, I'm going to be wrapping it up at the Safford 5K in Cardiff on the 21st 1st of May. So this is a new one for me, and I believe this is around the same park where they do Park Run and also where they held the Podium 5K last year. It's a very fast course, very flat course. I know a lot of people go there to run fast, and again, I'm really excited. It's got a good depth of field as well, so I'm putting myself in the mix where there'll be a few runners going in that 15-minute barrier. Again, even if there's no one around me, there'll definitely be someone to chase. And once again, without hesitation, I will be going for that sub 16. Again, once I have to remember is the fact that it's going to be warmer, especially towards the end of May, but hopefully by this point I'll have adapted, or slowly starting to adapt, and I'll be able to be confident in my ability to go there. I'm certainly trying to tell myself to be confident. Inside, I'll be honest with you, I'm a nervous wreck, but I've got to be positive. I've got to have that positive mental attitude, which I'm still working really hard on, and I'm just trying to tell myself that those final 3 races, the first one is a warm-up, and those next 3, I just want to absolutely go out of the blocks, start my watch, and have one mentality, one thing in mind, and that is that 15-minute race. And I've said it a few times, and I'll say it again, I apologise if that sounds arrogant in any way, shape or form. I'm honestly one of the most mentally weak, and I don't back myself, people out there, but as I said, after the last 18 months or so, I'm really trying to work on sort of talking myself into things rather than out of it. So I've set myself a goal, I've set myself a target, and I want to achieve it on hopefully 3 or 4 of these races. I know that the first one, as I said, is going to be a warm-up, just getting used to racing the 5K again, but then after that I really want to get stuck in, and if I can nail it at Battersea Park, then that's going to give me massive confidence for those final 2 races. So there we go, guys, that's a quick update from me. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys at those races. Hopefully I might see some of you at Pulford this weekend. It's about a 90% chance I'm going to do it. I'm literally going to book the hotel later tonight once I've confirmed I've got childcare cover, because my wife said she very kindly will come with me and help me with the driving, which I'm very grateful for, because I'm not very good at sitting in a car for a long period of time. I tend to seize up quite badly, being the height that I am and with the bad back that I tend to suffer with. So I want to get up there on Saturday night and go for a little shakeout when I get up to the hotel before the race. So that's super exciting. Might see some of you there. If you are there and you're out on course, or you know anyone out on course, it'd be wonderful if anyone could get any clips of filming. That would be just incredible for me to drop it into the vlog when I produce that next week. And then, as I said, hopefully out of those 4 5Ks, I'll see some of you guys out there, whether it's in Hereford, London or Cardiff. I cannot wait to get stuck in to these races. That's it from me today, guys. If you want to see me suffer in last week's session of Baptism of Fire, check out this video up here where I ran a 2:48k pace 400 meter rep and absolutely died on my arse. Or if you want to see how the long run went in the Adidas Evo SL and that tempo run, which was a lot more controlled, check out this video down here, and I'll see you guys over on one of those.